Hey there, guys. We've got news for Global on June 15th. And this week, joining me once again to discuss the news is Sketch. So you can say hello again, Sketch.
Hello, everybody.
So you asked for the Type-0 event. So we've got Vermilion Class 0 Ace, Vermilion Class 0 Deuce, and Vermilion... Oh, nope, just Sice. Just Sice. So what is the Vermilion Class 0? Like, what does that stand for? Why are they called that? I'm assuming you've played the game.
Yeah. So, like, Vermilion class is alright. So, like, just a little bit of lore. This is obviously a school. That's why there's a class of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vermilion is basically like they took the best of the best students and moved them into another class. So
Okay.
it'd be kind of like if you were in high school where like you might have taken plus classes or whatever. Like it's just like that. So like this is the best of the best.
Gotcha.
Um, they did not start there. At the beginning of the game, and then like some events happen, blah blah blah. I don't want to go into spoilers too much in case somebody actually wants to play this game. Though it's not very popular in the U.S., but whatever.
Yeah, because I actually don't really know anything about it. So, just real quick, a little bit more lore on Type-0. Just 'cause I've always been curious. What's the reason they're all named after numbers? I'm assuming that's like code names. They're not like literally named that, right? They just like, get assigned that name when they get into class, I guess.
So they were assigned numbers, like code name type things, right? But most of these characters don't have memories,
Oh,
so they actually don't know their names for like I don't know 95% of the game or something like that. Like it gets like really later on because there was an accident that caused all of these like, this group of people to get affected differently by the crystals,
mm-hmm.
and because of that, basically the characters don't know like they grew up with these code names because they had to keep them safe, and they didn't need to let other people know who they were, and then that's all they've known for like most of their lives, and then they find out their names later. But yes, that's not their actual names. Like nobody's named 9 or 8 or like. But yeah,
All right. That's pretty cool. A bit of lore for Type-0 that I assume most people have not played before, myself included. But
yeah.
here's the units. So it's a armory step up. So if you do go for the step up, you're getting an armory ticket. It's the same one we've had 3 or 4 times at this point. And then there's Ace. Ace is not premium, although it always confuses a little bit the way it says like NV premium step up, but the units are not premium. Although I do realize calling a unit premium is like a player term, not an official term. But you would think like at this point, Gumi would understand their player base, and they know players call it that, so they would kind of adapt. But I guess not. I guess not.
Yeah, it's really weird on a couple of things about that. One, I guess I'm happy there's at least something. He could have gotten a step up like Zach, which I think's like the worst kind of the entire game. Like just the basic premium, you get nothing extra, no guarantees anything.
Mm-hmm.
Those are really bad. But also, I think, like even bias aside, I think Ace is better than a lot of premiums. So I, for the longest time, thought he was premium.
Mm-hmm. And it's actually amusing. So getting into Ace real quick, we'll mention real quick. Ace on his release in the JP server was certainly not anywhere near premium. He released extremely weak and like really bad. And then like 2 weeks later, I'm not sure the exact time frame, but 2 weeks, 3 weeks, relatively quickly after his release, Alim went back and overhauled the unit. They increased his base stats, which were horrible originally. So they increased his
Mm-hmm.
base stats. They increased his modifiers. I think. Oh yeah, they also added more flat magic as well. So they just like really heavily buffed him, and then he became really good. But on release, he was just garbage.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's your prediction? Do you think Global is giving us the original version of Ace and then they're going to buff him later? Do you think they're going to give us the original version and leave him as is forever? Or do you think they're going to give us his like upgraded version right away?
I hope they just give us the upgrade version, because if for some reason they don't upgrade him, I am going to slam all of their social media like into the ground, because like I really like these units. I really like this team, which we'll get to when we get to his leader skill. I think his leader skill is very good. Um, because we'll get there when we get to the leader skill. I have a lot to say about the leader skill, but yes, I hope he comes fixed. If they have to wait 2 weeks, like whatever, I'm pulling for the unit anyway because I like units on the team. I like Type-0. Um, and extra points for me. The song that I wanted is on Ace's Vision Guard. Like
Nice.
that was the song, the only song that I wanted more than Genesis's card. So like
Hmm.
until they actually release something, I want more. This is like my second or third favorite song in like the entire series. So
Nice. Now, I will say, based on precedent, JP did this before where they released a unit, it was garbage, and they buffed it later. That was Coralie, even though after his buffs he was still terrible, but he was even worse on day one in JP. On
oh,
Global, when Coralie did arrive, we got his like final version immediately on day one. So this has happened in the past where JP puts out a dumpster and fixes it later, and then Global gives us the fixed version immediately. So on precedent, he's probably going to be the upgraded version on day one. But we can't really tell that from the news, so we'll know that on Thursday. Real quick, his vision card, him and Deuce's vision card at the same time, are just pretty generic. 130 magic, 500 flat for Type-0. It's just the very very generic series card we're used to at this point. His STMR is a one-handed thrower. Ace is a dual wield unit. Always a weapon. Good for him. No one else is really going to probably use this. And then his TMR is generic, and who cares? But then the leader skill, like you mentioned, the leader skill. He is our first 750 leader skill on Global. Now, this is a Blessing of the Crystal category. This is a more specific and narrow category. This is not like all fire units. You can, in game, sort by this filter, which already exists in the game, and you can see the units. But an overall description of the category is units that are like affiliated directly with crystals in some way. For example, like Bart's, Lena, Galoof, the Final Fantasy V units, they were very heavily tied to the crystals. The Final Fantasy III units, pretty much all the Type-0 units. Also, global units, for example, like Elena and Louise and Wilk, they are all fundamental forces units. They also have the tag. So you were wanting to talk about the leader skill sketch. What do you think about this leader skill?
all right. So I'll start with the bias aside part because there's going to be a bias part. This leader skill is so much better on Global because we have so many things that they can do with the crystal unit storyline, like you were talking about. If we get a new Elena for anniversary, like let's just say this is just what they decide to do again, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's very likely on this leader skill.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are people that like love Elena, Death, which I mean, hey, you like her, that's cool. I still have small hope for Wilk after he gets crowns. Maybe there's something there. Like he has a break. Like he is salvageable. It likely won't happen, but like he is salvageable technically. Um, but I like this leader skill on Japan, on the Japan version, and it's just straight up better for us. Um, because like every extra unit, like hey, there's other units besides Elena with crystal stuff like that I could add, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I, correct me if I am wrong, but wasn't Esther also involved with the crystal at the end of her last story with Wilk?
She was, but she does not have the category, at least at the current time. Yeah, Global did not give it to her. They gave it to like Louise, Elena, Wilk, etc. But Esther did not get it. I don't really know why, because she was involved in that. But Global says she is not a crystal unit, unfortunately.
Well, what I was thinking is if they continue that storyline with Wilk, the next Esther may be on there.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
Which we won't know right now, obviously, right? But it's just like if you were already thinking about going for this leader skill, there are a lot of units they could throw. Like they could just randomly decide that, hey, one of the Chinese version units, hey, this is a crystal unit. Like, this is something very open-ended thing with how FFB works as a storyline that they can add to it anytime.
Mm-hmm.
Now for the bias part. uh, I really like Final Fantasy V. Arts is a beast on this leader skill.
Yep. By the way, Sketch, you seem to be like blowing into your microphone sometimes.
Oh,
Just
let me move it.
FYI.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah, my apologies. Bart's, I really like Final Fantasy V when Bart gets his buffs later, assuming Global doesn't skip them. Becomes a beast on this leader skill, and getting to use Bart's is going to be really cool, on top of already liking Type-0.
Real quick, talking about that, I actually have my little DPS spreadsheet, and just for a quick overview, these units in orange are the ones that fall under Ace's specific leader skill, Blessing of the Crystals. So here's some updates. Here's Bart's as he is right now. Here is Bart's using one of his special elements, like Thunder, Light, or I forget the other one. Oh god, I think it's Fire. That's with these elements. And then if Bart gets the fixes from JP, which he does not have right now, and they're not announced yet, but in the future, Bart's was upgraded in JP. If we get them for Wind, he will be all the way up here with Ace's leader skill. And then here's Ace himself, pretty high up. Trey is a unit that should be coming pretty soon. He's a different Type-0 unit. Knights of Grandshout is a crystal unit, by the way, Blessing by the Crystals. They are blessed by the crystals, so Knights of Grandshell get even better than they do with Squall's leader skill. The Neovision's Awakened Onion Knight with his Meteor does get a leader skill as well. That being said, as you know, Onion Knight is really hard to gear for Meteor stuff. Not quite as easy as X-Death or Golbez, but with a 750 leader skill, he does get better. And yeah, so here is some examples. And also, like you mentioned, if we do get more Elenas, Esters, Wilkes, if they get upgraded, they all fall under the leader skill as well. Although currently, Wilk is way down here, even with the leader skill. He is that horribly bad today. Even with the 750, he is so freaking far behind.
He is below Deuce, who is a support unit.
Oh yeah, I didn't even. Yeah, here's Deuce at 412 or so. We're gonna talk about her in a minute. She's also on the banner, but yeah, she's primarily a support, but she can deal a little bit of damage, which is nice. A little bit.
Sure.
And yeah, so there is Ace. And honestly speaking, I'm considering pulling for Ace myself. I'm probably not going to do the step up, but I'm thinking like 40 to 50 tickets and hope for the best and try to get him. I can shard dungeon him, because if I get one copy, then you can do VIP coins, you can do the 5K bundle, you can do the 2200s, you can get EX2 at the end of 2 weeks, literally with just one copy with tickets and 7K lapis. So that's still relatively cheap.
Yeah, I am mostly free to play. Like I have been saving for Ace. As soon as I get my first copy, I'm out. But ideally, just being honest, I hope I get Deuce 2, because the plan is at the moment it's to pull the step up, hopefully get Ace and Deuce, and then throw a ton of tickets at the next banner. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm. So that's Ace. And we didn't even mention, by the way. So Ace is a physical typed mage that uses triple bolting strike, I believe, on his LB. He's a light element unit that has a 150 amplify. He also has other elements, but they're not nearly as good as light for him. And yeah, he's a damage dealer, and he's a really, really good damage dealer if we get his upgraded version. If we don't, he'll be down there around Wilk. But we should get his upgraded version. And then Deuce. So Deuce, like you mentioned, is a support unit. She's got field for different elements. She's got a little bit of damage. She's got some imbues. She's got stat buffs. She's like a mix between a buffer and a DPS. Not super great at either, but she's a good mixture of them, I guess.
Yeah. So you may not agree, and I would like your input on this. So this kind of unit actually becomes kind of commonplace in JP with like categories where they're like, hey, we're trying to like force these super support units that just do like a jack of all trades, like slightly above a jack of all trades, so like you can run all these different like elements and stuff on them, right? So like,
Mm-hmm.
how do you feel about these kind of units? Like, do you like them to yourself? Do you think the compression is enough to warrant them, like pulling for them?
I think they're really good when they're the best at what they do. And an example of that would be the upcoming Vanille. Vanille is an 89 defense, 89 spirit breaker with
Mm-hmm.
150 imperil to 4 different elements and a 40% imperil field to all 4 of those elements. So she is literally like the best 89 breaker in the game with multiple elements combined in peril of 190 to all 4. So a unit like Vanille is amazing at that because she's just the best at what she does in multiple elements, and that's really good. I love that. Now, a unit that would be, let's just throw out a number. Let's say they deal 70% of the damage of a meta damage dealer, and they're
Mm-hmm.
doing like buffs that are like equivalent to like 80% of the best you could get.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's worth it. Like, I'd
Sure.
rather just add like an all-in support to fully buff up the rest of the real damage dealers instead of doing like half-ass and 2 different jobs. So yeah, if you're gonna like water down the unit because they have flexibility, I don't like that. But if you want to make them the best that they can do in 2 categories, I mean, yeah, I'm all for
Yeah.
that.
Um. So we get. I really need to look and like compare Vanille and Cater, because if I remember right, I think Cater has some really good stuff too. Like I feel like Cater has a 90% break.
Yeah, Cater by memory has I think 90% spirit and 88% defense by memory. I'd have to check that verify.
But these kind of units, see, like I like them because um I obviously would like them to all be like Vanille. Like Vanille's just absurd. But I feel like they I would much rather them do something like this than release units that do one thing, one after another again for the team. It's like, hey, you want stuff for Ace's team? Here's Deuce. She does Impero fields and has no other support.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they could have easily done that. They've done stuff like that in the past, and I hated it, and I ended up skipping all of them because, like, I'm not pulling for 4 units that do one thing. I just not. Like, even if I was a whale, I wouldn't do that. Um, like, so I feel like this was when they came out with Deuce, it was a very good direction of how they can like eventually get to the point where like people are very happy with units. And I personally think Deuce is quite good. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but
She's
like
pretty good.
she's not perfect or anything like that. But I think for like Lim's like first version of what they're going towards into the future with this kind of unit, they did a pretty good job. I think like it gets better later, but like she's not terrible. We've had some units recently that are just like, why wasn't this unit buffed? Why are you even releasing this? You're just
Exactly.
costing yourself. I've never understand that concept with them because they're costing themselves money. Because like, who's unless it's your favorite, and if it's your favorite, I don't want to dog on anybody for like pulling for their favorites or anything, right? But for a lot of people, like,
Like Zach
uh,
is a perfect example.
yeah, yeah, like, and they did Zach super dirty though. They even didn't even give him a step up. They're just like, nobody cares. Like, oh well, okay,
Mm-hmm.
like.
It was so annoying. So Deuce's STMR is, of course, a weapon. It's a harp, only really going to be good for her. But her TMR, I will mention, I get so many comments. I don't have Ihana's TMR. I can't get my Esper spats filled, and people get so hung up on that. It's a minor bonus, but it is a nice bonus. And Deuce's TMR is just a clone of Ihana's. The elements are different, but it maxes out your Esper stats. So if you've never pulled Ihana, if it's keeping you awake at night that you don't have Ihana's TMR, this is another chance to get a copy of it, the same thing. So there you go.
Um, Hi, that's me. I don't have Ihana. I'm missing like 4 MVs in the entire game just from playing so long, and Ihana's just one of them. If you didn't comment on this TMR, I was going to. I know multiple people in that boat that don't have Ihana, and that probably care about this TMR more than me. But you have the option of getting it now on a good unit. So
Yeah, and like I don't get me wrong, it's nice. Extra Esper stats are great. It'll give you like 220 more attack power over the cap, which is real nice. The only reason I make jokes about it is like, and I really don't mean to make fun of anyone or anything, but like it's just like it's a face palm moment when someone sends me a message and says like, I can't follow your guide. I'm not going to deal anywhere near enough damage. I can copy everything as it is, but I don't have Ihana's TMR, so the guide won't work. And I'm just like, and I'm being a little dramatic just for comedy, but people really get really hung up on not having Ihana's TMR, and they get really hung. It's really not that big a deal. It's like 200 attack power when your unit has 18,000. It's not going to make or break the team. But if you do have it, it's a nice little 1% bonus.
Yeah, no, I definitely saw people comment, I can't clear Vision World because I don't have Ihana's TMR, and I'm like, okay, that's not the reason, but sure.
Yeah. And then Sice. Full disclosure here, I have no idea what Sice does.
I got you.
All right, what does Sice do?
Sice is a breaker.
That's basically it. No damage.
So like her damage isn't terrible. This kind of sucks. This is actually my favorite character from Type-0. So when they MVA'd her, I was a little sad because I was like, that means she's not getting a new MV. But she is a breaker. If I remember correctly, she actually has sizable size imperils as well,
Nice.
which is useful in and out of realm. Like it's 130 or 140 even for Dark and Wind.
Pretty good.
She
For a 3-star.
She is a SLB unit. I mean, but at least she's a 3-star, so you probably can EX3 her if you knew this was coming, or if you're somebody that saves units.
Well, actually, don't forget, on Global, they are now in the Star Quartz shop, so you can buy as many slices as you want for like 5 Star Quartz a piece.
Oh, you're right. No, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, like you'll use her for the Type-0 content for sure. Like she's fine. I wish she was a little bit better. Most MBAs nowadays aren't spectacular. There's like 1 or 2 outliers, but like she's fine. She's just a content Type-0 breaker, basically.
Yep, and she'll be a bonus unit. And the event is, the farming event. Not a lot to say here. Some gear. The gear is not very special. And then this exploration. In JP, this exploration was... Oh, it actually is in Global 2 even. This exploration is exclusive to Type-0 units. Now, it's not super hard, and I did clear it with basically the Neovision's Kurasame as my only real damage dealer, but it was something you couldn't just go in there and auto-battle. You had to, like, chain and properly cap, etc. So they are pretty bulky, but it's not super hard. As long as you've got... Well, Kurasame is enough, and that's what I used. If you don't have Kurasame, there's like no other options unless you're pulling the new units. Like there's the Neovision's Awakened, Queen, and Machina, but they're real bad. So I hope you have a Kurasame. That's all I can say. Because there's no other damage dealers that you can really use except for the new units. Oh, I guess Sice maybe. Maybe Sice does better than Queen and Machina. I don't know.
She does, but that's not saying much. Those two are actually like unusable. They're super bad. Like this content isn't really hard, but a friend of mine tried to do it with outsize and like I know that doesn't really make sense, but he tried to do it without size because he was being lazy. You're gonna need a breaker. You're not clearing that without a breaker. Like he was just like, I can brute force it. Like even with the new units, like no, you are pretty much forced to use size.
Yep. And then some other events. This one had a mission for Type-0. Global has been removing them, so I'm assuming this you can use anything you want, in which case it'll be very easy. That'll give you the Class 0 uniform, which gives flat stats to the Type-0 units. And then this is the crown fight for Ingus. Now this is exclusive to Blessing of the Crystal units, so only that list we talked about earlier On global, if you've got the intrinsic for Starlight Elena, she's a pretty good turn-by-turn damage dealer. She can probably carry this pretty easily, I would assume. It wasn't super hard. I beat it in JP with I don't even remember who. I forgot. I forgot who I used in JP, but it wasn't that hard in the first place. So this is one of the easier ones. So yeah, this shouldn't be too bad. And that is for Ingus crowns. Honestly speaking, I don't have Ingus and JP, and when this crowns came out, I like glanced at them for half a second. I'm like, I don't have this guy, whatever, and I moved along. So I don't really remember what they do. Do you happen to know, Sketch, if they're any good?
Yeah. So his LB gets upgraded to add all of the field imperils into an LB.
Oh.
He's actually very good on Ace's team.
Okay.
So like his LB's the biggest change. Like the Awaken +2 LB is like the biggest difference. There's the other stuff's like kind of minor, but it's a bunch of abilities got turned into his LB, which is way better.
Let's check this out real quick.
Trying to like
Is it his shift or base LB? Do you remember?
Shift. I'm like pretty sure.
Shift LBs. Take a look real quick at this upgraded. Oh, I should have done this before the video, but
Yeah, I don't want to be wrong. Yeah.
So 88 defense, 89 spirit break, decent. 145 imperil to 4 elements, and then it also applies all the fields at once. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty nice. 89 breaker, 145 imperil, 30 field, all at the same time for 4 different elements. That is good.
I am on the, like, again, trying not to be biased. As somebody who likes Ingus, I have actually used Ingus in his current state, Dark Visions, already on some teams, just for, like, fields.
Mm-hmm.
And he was not like a super good unit. Like, let's just be honest, right? I think he's actually good after these.
And like you mentioned, keep in mind, too, he is a Blessing of the Crystal unit, so he will get that 750 leader skill from Ace. Even with that, though, I do have his... So this is with a leader skill. This is without his crowned upgrades. So I did not include the crown. This is only the current Ace, or the current Ingus with the leader skill. With his crowns, he'll be higher. I'm assuming he's not going to be like a meta damage dealer or anything, but it'll be better than it is now.
He's not. He's just a very good support. Then if like for example you pull Ace and you have Ingus, like Goose offers some stuff that Ingus doesn't, obviously. And you may want to run both, to be honest with you, if you have them. But like if you have Ingus already, like you don't have to go chasing Deuce. And like Ingus has been out for like a really long time, and he's also somebody that's not. He's not a damage dealer, so he's not locked to, well, I don't have him EX3, so he sucks. Like, no. He's a good support.
So that'd be pretty fun to do. Also, story update, Chapter 7, Part 2 of Season 4. So for me, this is more Lapis. You know, I've mentioned before, I have given up on the story, so I don't read it anymore, so I don't know what's going on. But more Lapis, always nice. And if you are following along, you're going to get more information. Someone should definitely ping me and tell me when they eventually reveal Van Harma. That's the only thing I'm still like, who's Van Harma? Who's Van Harma? And because I'm not following along, I might miss it. So someone let me know when he is eventually revealed. I'm curious. Wait, what? Did they bring Roka back in the stupid baby Roka? Is that who this is in this picture? Do you know?
I don't know.
I hated that in season 3.
I'm not caught up. You gave up on the story, like, so I gave up on season 3 and then tried again with season 4, and I actually like season 4, but like season 3 was like beyond terrible, so like that kind of sucked for a long time.
A huge reason season 3 was terrible is the whole baby Roka stuff. I hated that. And if they're bringing it back in season 4, thankfully I'm already done with it, so who cares? So we are starting up the anniversary stuff. Anniversary is coming at the end of June. We're going to start getting various stuff. So challenge the producer, go in once a day, kill him is usually one-hit kill. If enough people do it, we get rewards. Erasers are awesome. Crown, free Neovision. And this is a really good stuff if we get everything. So everyone go in there and clear it every day. make sure you do it. A lot of stuff.
If it's anything like last year, that was cleared in like 2 days. Like, or like, hey, this stuff is actually good. We're going to go really hard for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is like a really good gift bag or whatever. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And then free polls, always nice. Yay, free polls, get stuff for free. And then the fun part, we are getting Addison Rae the collaboration. So for people that are asking who is Addison Rae, she is apparently popular on TikTok, and she makes videos there. Honestly speaking, I'm not familiar with her, so I can't say one way or the other if they're good or not. I just don't know. There it is. She is a real life person being collaborated with in Brave Exvius. Now, this is not the first time this has happened. We've had Ariana Grande, we've had Katy Perry. Were there any others, like real life people that were in the game other than those two, or was it just those two? Do you remember any others?
I think it's just those two, but we got multiple versions of both of them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I would not be surprised if we're going to be getting more Addison Raes in the future. I will say, though, the one thing that, or one of the things that was really nice about those collaborations in the past, well, for one thing, the, oh God, which one was it? I think it was the Ariana Grande. The song that, I really enjoyed that song they put in the game. I forgot what it was even called, but I remember the song was pretty cool, and I really enjoyed it. So that was really nice. Also, the Katy Perry collaboration gave us the upgrade package, and that was like a really big deal STMR for a year, 2 years. I didn't get it when it came out, and I regretted that for those entire 2 years. I still don't have upgrade package, and every now and then I'm like, I kind of wish I had it for a very specific build. It's not really that big a deal these days, but it was a real big deal for the first 2 years when it came out. So maybe the Addison Rae will give us something like that. No, this one is not going to. This is a free unit. Based on just what it looks like, her vision card, we'll talk about that in a second. But the STMR, whatever. And by the way, like I said, she's completely free. We're going to get her for free. We're going to get her to EX3 from Login Rewards. So this is totally free. It's a totally free thing. If you don't like Addison Rae, ignore it, skip it, shard it, sell it, whatever. If you do, enjoy it. It'll be free. The unit that is. But the STMR, very, very generic, nothing. It's very obviously a free gear. Same thing for the TMR. So that's not anything special. And then the vision card, we talked about this briefly beforehand. I was saying the vision card is not as good as the Dragon Quest free vision card. And for me, that's always the standard. Like when a free vision card comes out, I immediately go, is it better or worse than Power Cut? Because Power Cut is a card that I still use today. Even though I've got like premium cards, I still use Power Cut constantly on my teams. That was probably the best free vision card we've ever been given in the whole game. So I always judge free stuff compared to Power Cut. This is worse than Power Cut, but as you were saying, Sketch, it is still decent. It's not a bad card or anything.
Yeah, like
for new players.
I agree it's worse than Power Cut, but like I just have to think of like some people may have somehow missed that, or like they could just be like completely brand new players. Because like I think something we talked about before, her collab actually was very popular on War of the Visions because they got the same collab, and like I don't know about new people coming into the game, but like people were saying, "Oh, this is really cool." And I'm like, well, that's probably why we ended up getting it, and maybe it brings people in the game, and then like. If somebody gets directed to your video, hey, this isn't a bad like entry level card. Like it will get power grab, you will get better things, right? That's just how it is, right? But like, it's free. Like you never know. Like I'm not gonna be able to personally use it. You're not gonna personally use it. But there will be somebody that can put this to good use. And I don't know. Like the whole collab thing is fine. I didn't have upgrade package before. I really hope we don't get like a premium Addison Rae that's like a cow unit with an OPS tumor or I'm gonna be sad. Like,
oh yeah, yes. For me, like I'm kind of like neutral on the whole thing. Like I mean, just as like a purist, I'd rather not have any like real life people in my fantasy game with knights and magic and all. Just like as like a total purist, but it doesn't like upset me or anything. Like people in Discord, some people are like personally offended that we're getting this collaboration. I'm kind of like whatever. Like if you don't like it, ignore it. Whatever. If you do like it, great. For me, I doubt I'm going to use the unit. I doubt I'll use her gear. So I'll just stick her in the vault and forget she exists, which is fine. It doesn't bother me, but I don't know. Like, I guess I would rather not have any real life people in Final Fantasy, but it is what it is. Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not like this is the first one, right? Like they broke that a long time ago.
Ariana Grande and Katy Perry. Yep.
Oh man, I at least, can you imagine, like just for a second, if this is our anniversary unit, like a premium version of her that's a cow unit?
Okay, so if that happens, I will be kind of irritated. And again, nothing against Addison Rae. If Addison Rae, if you're watching my video, I honestly just don't know who she is. I don't. That's not good. It's not good or bad. I just don't know her. But if the 7th anniversary unit for Brave Exvius is Addison Rae, I will be upset because that is just out of place, and that should not be the case, in my opinion. Like, if they want to do an Addison Rae 4 anniversary, as well as, whatever the new special real fantasy Final Fantasy unit is going to be, okay, sure. Stick her in there, who cares, whatever. If you like it, great. If not, ignore it. But I don't want Addison Rae to be the featured anniversary unit. Is what I think.
So that's how I feel. But like, I just want to point that out there, just because for the shock value. Like, wait, what if it happens? So, oh god. Then people I think could like. I don't like people getting upset over free things in any game. That's just me. You don't like you said you don't like it. Like whatever, it doesn't affect you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it was the premiere anniversary unit, I think people are able to get mad. So please, yeah, that makes sense. But I don't know.
We'll have to see. And that's basically it for the news for the week. And real quick, as a kind of off-topic thing, I will mention, a few days ago, I uploaded a gameplay video of me doing Hollow Knight. A few people have said, when are you going to upload more of the videos? I will just say, I have uploaded like 10 more videos of Hollow Knight. They're all unlisted, though, because I don't want to like spam my Brave Exvius viewers with all kind of Hollow Knight stuff. But if you're enjoying the Hollow Knight videos, go to the first Hollow Knight video, and I've edited in links to all the follow-ups, but that'll take you straight there. Even though it's unlisted, you can still view it. So go to the video description of the first Hollow Knight video, and that'll have a bunch of links to all the follow-up segments. And as I'm doing more and more Hollow Knight, I'm uploading them and I'm editing in that little table of contents to get you to all the follow-up videos. You can also go to the playlist section on my channel, and the other games playlist will have all the videos listed, even though they're not being publicly published, because again, I don't want to just spam Brave Exvius players with 10 different Hollow Knight videos. But there you go. If you're enjoying it, you can watch more of them on my channel. But thanks again for joining me, Sketch, for Type-0, etc. news.
Yeah, no, it was really nice to be on. I am slightly upset that Carlet is still not here. Maybe I guess they're just saving it for anniversary, and they're gonna make it like a big deal that we're just getting the exact same thing Japan got, I guess. But yeah, no, it was cool. Like, I've been ready for Ace for a while. I like Type-0. Type-0 is not very popular over here. I thought it was really weird that I saw a lot of people in the JP Reddit complaining because like there's multiple Type-0 banners, but like if you look at the numbers, like Type-0 is like the 3rd or 4th most popular Final Fantasy game in Japan. Like it kind of surprised me, but maybe that's because it's more like global players in the JP like Discord as opposed to people that are actually from Japan. Like I'm sure you know this, but like Japan loves all this school stuff, right? Like there's a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of animes that's based off of school. There's a bunch of like games that are Japan only that are like school things. Like they love this game. I haven't met too many people besides me actually since I started playing FFB that really likes Type-0. So it's just like if you guys want to try a different game, like it the story for Type-0 is very good. You may not like the combat because it's very different. They did something like I wouldn't say as wild as they did in FF2, which was like super off board compared to other games, but like it's different. But if you just want like a good story, like Type-0 is really good. I'm happy they're here. I will be pulling. I know that Ace is not as strong as Genesis. Here's a hint: Genesis beats a lot more units that are coming still. Uh, because of the global shenanigans with the card that
Mm-hmm.
JP doesn't have. So that does not make him a bad unit. I'm very excited for this. I will be pulling. I think it's cool that you're considering pulling for tickets because I don't think there was any chance you would have done that on your JP account.
Oh yeah. Although actually in JP I do have Ace, but I got him from an off banner from something else.
Yeah. So if you are a Type-0 fan, you should be happy. The units are worth pulling for, especially if you are a fan, for sure. Um, like you can run this team as a competitive team in Dark Visions if you get the pieces for the team, just like every other team, right?
Yep.
Um, the only issue is, I think this is like the last thing I want to comment on is Ace really wants people on this banner, and there's a second banner, and like not to take away from another video, but that has at least one unit that you will want for this team. So like it could be kind of expensive if you don't get lucky or didn't plan for it like I did.
Mm-hmm.
Like do keep that in mind.
And the
But
anniversary is coming too.
and then the anniversary is there, so like I think they wanted Ace like I will say this, I think they wanted Ace before anniversary because I think there's going to be another 750 for anniversary. I don't know what's going to be. It's not going to be like Cow or anything. They're not going to go from 300 to 750 or anything crazy like that. I hope not. But so keep in mind it's anniversary. But if you like the game, or like you want to try like a different team, or maybe even you're just a Bart's fan, right? Because like
Yeah.
is this Bart's still best team on JP?
It probably is, but we do have to wrap it up here though, so not to cut you off, Sketch, but
No, you're good. That was it.
all right. So thanks again for joining, and we will see you guys later.
Okay, see ya.